would like to turn it over to the founder of Skies, Dr. Julius Su. Julius, take it away.
Oh, thanks, James. It's really inspiring to hear from principals and to see all you guys here on a Saturday morning. Much appreciate your time. So, yeah, I think to extend what James is saying, I think, yeah, we're very much like a mom and pop store. And like a mom and pop store, we're constantly having to, what's the term? Put our money where our mouth is, or put our mouth, whatever it goes. The only way we survive, is by making sure whatever we do is very helpful to you, and to work closely with everyone here. That's why we're so responsive to requests. I think as companies get larger and larger, they get further and further removed from the problem, and it can get very easy for them to hide behind support lines, emails that don't get received, phone calls that never get picked up, that sort of thing. But we have no choice. I mean, we're small, and for us to grow and to be with you, we have to be really, really attentive to everything you guys want, and we have to really make sure that everything that we do is so helpful and aligned. So, with all that said, I'm gonna do a ChatGPT presentation. I know you guys have been through a lot of these, and you guys have had a lot of these discussions, but it's our turn to do a ChatGPT discussion. But we're going to do it in a way that I hope is actually really immediately helpful to you, like starting today. So the first thing I'm going to ask is just an open question, maybe for like a few minutes. Have you guys tried it? What's it been useful for? Any immediate things you want to put in the chat or raise your hand for? Cooking, yes, thank you. Recipes. Anyone else want to chime in with a ChatGPT thing? Daily morning work. Okay. Any elaborations on that? Yes, Kimberly. Review math lessons. Okay. Creating. Yep.
Hi, during COVID, I'm an educational specialist, and
Okay.
during COVID, I was able to work with a few teachers supporting their RSP students, and I learned so much during that time. I had used Guys before trying to support the teachers, but Dolores Rodriguez, which I know is our contact with you guys, I team taught with her, and it was absolutely amazing. The kids, she was able to upload videos, and the kids could rewatch them as much as they wanted, and it really helped them learn. All levels of students really improved in their own self-esteem, that they were able to actually answer questions and be a part of the discussions.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, it's been useful to I guess many teachers and students for sort of the immediacy of feedback and collaboration. And yeah, I think I've been seeing some comments about reading comprehension, good for warm-ups and lessons. Organizing your lessons. Okay, so a lot of good things that you guys have been using Skies for. I'm sorry, I guess I meant I was a bit ambiguous in the question I had posed to everyone, and so let me just go ahead and write on Skies, which is what I should have done to begin with, and which is illustrating what happens when you try to wing it without Skies. So I'm going to post the question here. Have you guys tried ChatGPT? What has it been useful for? I know you guys aren't actually on Skies, but I'm just gonna make this big. Okay, so Skies is good. We like Skies. I love Skies. We all love Skies. But particular to ChatGPT, a not Skies website, have you guys used it, and what has it been useful for? And I'm gonna bring it back to Skies. No. Oh boy. Okay. This is going to be a really fun PD for you guys. Letters of recommendation. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So a lot of you guys haven't tried this website before. Oh, you guys are gonna like this website. Directions on how to do something. Okay, good. Oh, I'm like goosebumps, because I get to introduce this technology to you guys. It's not skies, it's something really cool, and it links the skies in some ways too. Okay, cool. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm just gonna type in Google like ChatGPT. Whoops, sorry, wrong one. If you just Google ChatGPT like this, you don't have to do it right now. I'll show you. You get this web page, and all you get is the interface is extremely simple. It's just one line. You can type anything you want. And imagine that you had the opportunity to sit down with the smartest person in the world. Like literally, this person has read every book that everyone's ever written, all of human knowledge, but you can just type it and it gives you answers. So let's say I'm going to write something like, could you make a lesson plan for third graders to support the NGSS standard 3 LS3 1? Just something like that. Make me a lesson plan for this standard. James and I used to work with teachers to do exactly this sort of thing, and it would be like back and forward, take forever, consulting thing. But let's see what it says. It knows the standards, of course. It's the smartest person in the world. Okay, so I mean, so if you're looking for like lesson plans, you can always search Google and like be like, okay, I want something on inherited traits in plants and animals. Maybe you'll find something that's close. Maybe you'll find something that's not really, but you got to look through a bunch of sources until you pull up the one that looks kind of well matched to your class. Here with ChatGPT, you only have to go to one place and it gives you a bunch of information. It synthesizes all the information that it knows just for you. If you don't like this, you can refresh it and get a new lesson plan. Just keep refreshing it until you see one. You can also talk back to it. You can be like, yeah, I don't want this activity. I want this kind of activity. And it will adjust the lesson plan for you. So let's go through it briefly. Okay, there will be an objective that you can paste in the skies or put on your board. There's materials. There's something like an engage. Yeah, you want a short video or a video clip about baby animal. You can discuss the traits it has and the parent it might get the trait from. You can give a simple example, maybe some sort of matching game. This is going to take a lot longer than 20 minutes, like little pictures you can distribute. You can either match things. You talk about variation, within like a single type of plant, like maple leaves can have variation. You can start to sort some leaves. There could be a worksheet about, how many animals have this trait, how many animals have trait B. You can have students work in pairs to answer questions. And then you can have some sort of conclusion and discussion. It discusses an exit ticket. There's an extension activity that they can do with their family. Those of you who haven't seen ChatGPT before, what is your initial reaction to this? Please put it in the chat. Oh, it's blocked by LSD, USD. Of course it is. But maybe not for the teachers. Okay. Love it. Amazing. Time saver. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Cool. Thanks. Okay. All the teenagers are probably using it. Yes. And it was blocked. Okay. So of course, I think a lot of discussion on ChatGPT has focused on the idea that students might be using it because it can make all this text so quickly. It's super easy for students to type in their essay questions and to have it write their essays for them. Super easy. So yeah, it's going to be cheating. Plagiarism detectors don't work. Not going to be effective. You're probably going to, if your students get wind of this and start using it a lot, there's probably going to be a lot of lockdown devices and things like that to block things like LAUSD does. And there's going to be discussion back and forth about these sort of things. But I'm more interested in how this can be a useful thing for teachers. So we put a bunch of stuff in disguise that actually use ChatGPT to do fun things. And this is what we're going to talk about now. Okay. So let's say you have an article, or you have some reading that you want to assign to your students. So let's say I go to like News for Kids. I used to always recommend News ELA, but now the amount of content you can access on News ELA is very limited if you go for the free version. This is a pretty good website still, News for Kids. And this article here caught my eye. US approves lab-grown chicken meat. So you can imagine in the future, you won't need to raise chickens for food. You won't need to kill any animals. You just grow chicken meat in a giant fermentation vat, and it comes out as like perfect like chicken slices. And you just eat it, and one day it's going to be as cheap as like, making a chicken. So this is kind of a fun article. The only thing is, we have this article here. It's got nice pictures. It's got a lot of details. It's even got a picture of lab-grown meat that looks very much like regular chicken. But it's missing something important if you're going to assign this to students. What do you guys think it's missing? Okay, I'll answer my own question. Assessments, checks for understanding. You don't know if the students have, understood what they just read. So let's go ahead and take all this text, and I'm just going to copy it. I'm 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 going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it into like, just a thing here. There are some captions, so I'm going to remove the captions. Above, there's a caption here, a cultivation room. We're going to remove that part too. I know I'm doing this very quickly. I'm just getting rid of all the captions and just keeping the regular text. Okay, so we have an article here about the US approving lab-grown chicken meat. And now I want to use ChatGPT to make assessment questions for me. Now you could paste this into ChatGPT and ask it and paste questions back and forth, but we want to save you guys time. So we built the functionality right in Disguise. Disguise actually has a way to talk to ChatGPT. So you go to Generator, you go to AI, and I say, I want multiple choice questions. So I'm going to go ahead and paste, oops, sorry. I should have pasted this in beforehand. Give me just a second. Okay, I'm going to copy all this text. I'm going to say Generator. I'm going to say AI. I'm going to say multiple choice question, and I'm going to paste it in. And I say, I just want 5 multiple choice questions. So what's going to happen now is Skies is like calling up ChatGPT going, hey, I've got a request for you. Okay, what do you want? And ChatGPT's like, okay, I can do this for you. Okay, make sure it's in the format that Skies understands. Okay, we're putting it in a format that you guys get. Oh, okay, perfect. This is exactly what we need. So now we have 5 multiple choice questions based on the article that we just gave it. What is lab-grown chicken meat? Developed from animal cells grown in a lab? Yes. What country is the second to approve it? Us, yes. Which are the 2 foods? Not KFC. Is this it? No, the wrong one. Anyway, so we have nice questions that are immediately, instantly generated based on what you just had. Any questions about this? Oh, okay, people are happy. Good. Okay, well, we have even more stuff coming up. I wish I could take credit for this, but this is just piggybacking off the amazing technology that is these large language models made by ChatGPT. What if we want short response questions? Well, because, we're trying to go up what Bloom's taxonomy of stuff. So we go, okay, we don't want students to be answering multiple choice questions all day. What if we want short answer questions? Yeah, we can do that too. So we paste it in, and now it's going to make like legitimate like questions that require a little bit more thought. Okay, not too much more thought. I mean, which two companies were approved to sell it? And again, this is just a repeat of the multiple choice question. Upside Foods and Good Meat. What is it grown from? Animal cells. What's the process called? Cell-based or cultured meat. Why do they claim it's better? Why is it currently difficult to make it more affordable? Okay, so here's another thing you have to always remember when you're using ChatGPT though. Not all of these questions are good ones. So for example, this one here is not a good question. Why is it currently difficult to make lab-grown meat more affordable? And it just says here, it is currently more expensive than meat from animals. Like, that's a non-answer. Like, if your student wrote that, you'd be like, that's like not a good answer to that question. There's a lot of factors that probably the article didn't go into detail on. So you should just remove that question. And I'm going to delete it now. But things like this, it uses less land and water and creates less pollution and greenhouse gases. That is a good question. So definitely keep that. So I would say if you're going to use this technology to make questions for you, make 10 questions and like delete, any that look bad. That way you'll have a bunch of good questions at the end, but don't like trust it blindly because, it's still just a computer. Any questions about this?
There was a question in the chat about how you would grade these, because I think we saw in the multiple choice, things got graded immediately, and here we see a key, and then I'll call on you, Melissa.
Okay, yes. So let's say students like wrote some answers like, Upside Foods. And let's say another student wrote something like McDonald's. Okay. So what's going to happen is when you go back to teacher mode, you're going to see this, your students' answers they've submitted. And you're also going to see the key right here. And if you go to Mass Grader, if you hit this button that says grades down below, what you're going to see is this is Sky's so-called Mass Grader. You see the key right here, and you see the student work next to it, Upside Foods and McDonald's. So you just assign. This part you do have to manually do. You could say, okay, this one got a 2 because, it got at least one of them correct. And this one got a 0, maybe a 1 because, they at least tried to answer it. And then you see the works get categorized into different grades. The next card that's up to grade is always going to be right next to the key. So it's easy to make a side-by-side comparison. You don't have to like go back and forth too much. But that's pretty much how we do grading in Skies, and it just makes the key for you.
And then Melissa, do you have a follow-up question?
That was my question. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, wonderful. And then inferential questions, yes. So you guys are like, okay, we've got multiple choice questions, we've got short answer questions, but what if we wanted students to really get practice, like synthesizing and writing and doing these really higher level skills? Well, we have tools for that too. So if we go to AI here, and we go to informative, argumentative, or narrative essays, you can make essay prompts for your students. I feel that this topic particularly would really lend itself to an argumentative essay. So I'm going to select argumentative essay. We go here and we say, okay, let's make an essay prompt for an argumentative essay. We can also make a sample response. I'm going to say 1 paragraph at the 3rd grade level. If you teach high school, you can say 3 paragraphs at the high school level. You can do that. But right now I'm just going to do a short one at the 3rd grade level. And we're just going to see what ChatGPT comes up with for an argumentative essay prompt. Okay, so here we go. Very simple. Should lab-grown chicken meat be sold in stores? So it's kind of cool. I can come up with an essay prompt for you. But what's even more remarkable, and this is what leads to the concerns about cheating, is it can come up with the essays for you too. So here we have, yes, it should be allowed to be sold in stores. It's better for the environment, uses less land, creates less pollution. It smells like chicken. People can't tell the difference. It helps to protect animals because then they won't have to get slaughtered for meat. Yes, even though it's more expensive right now, I think in the future, it'll be great. That's a solid third-grade essay. Against. I don't think it should be sold. It sounds weird and unnatural. I don't want to eat something that's not natural. I prefer to eat animals because that's how it has always been. I want to support local farmers. Expensive. I'd rather stick to eating real chicken meat. Also a solid essay. And so you can now just make as many essay prompts as you want. You don't have to get them from a book. You don't have to get them from a curriculum. You don't have to think of them and then come up with a sample response yourself. Basically, the computer can do all the heavy lifting for you in terms of making assessment questions of all kinds. Any questions about this? Okay, I see some clapping. Good. Okay, cool. Because you guys are not only seeing the Sky's ChatGPT interface, some of you guys are hearing about ChatGPT or using it for the first time, which makes it probably seem even more impressive. But really the impressive part is the AI, and this is just a link to it.
But I'm also going to say it's also impressive because when Julius says he piggybacked on ChatGPT, there were a few lines of code. So Julius has really taken ChatGPT and the realization of what it and put it through a lot of teacher lenses.
Yeah, sure. We made it accessible to and easily integrated within Skies, all that stuff. Okay, so enough about assessments. Let's talk about content. Sometimes you just want to find like you're just Googling around for a lot of stuff, but sometimes it's nice to be able to generate content that's exactly matched to what you want. So we also have some stuff here to generate content. So let's say you're like a kindergarten teacher and you want to make like some alphabet cards. So you could really just type in something like, I am a kindergarten teacher. I want to create a set of alphabet cards. Could you generate a list of words from A to Z? One line per word. I mean, this is the kind of thing like you can do, but it's kind of annoying. Like you really have to think of like 26 words, and then you're going to have to look for pictures for each word from the internet. Like if you didn't have alphabet cards, which of course you already do. But, if you didn't have them, it would be kind of annoying to make them, right? And now you can tell Skies, break it apart into cards. And this is kind of interesting too, because another breakthrough that happened like last year was AIs can not only generate endless amounts of text now in an intelligent way, they can also make pictures from scratch too in an intelligent way from scratch. So I'm just going to go ahead and press make cards. And it'll take a minute because it's got to come up with 26 words that are at the kindergarten level. And it's also got to make pictures for all those words. So it's going to take some time. I'll peek in the chat to see if there are any questions while it's busy making alphabet cards from scratch. Okay, it's made one so far. Now it's made two. Yeah, this reminds me like when James and I first went to an educational technology conference. This was like a long time ago. Like we brought all these iPads. We were like, well, the only way they're going to know what Skies is if they get to try it out first, right? So we're like, okay, we're going to give everyone in the audience an iPad. They're going to log in. They're going to make things. We're going to try. It's going to be very interactive, going back and forth. And we just imagined that all the other companies would have done something like this because, like, how else would their audience get a chance to experience the product? And then we actually sat in some of the sessions and we were like, they're not letting anyone use their product. It's like what you call it? It was all like pre-recorded videos and canned demos. And anyway, I'm just saying this because if this fails, if this doesn't work, it just happens sometimes, you know, like we're doing this like in front of you, where there's no tricks. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we learn something. But this is why I'm talking and trying to fill up time while waiting for the AI to make alphabet cards for us. Okay, well, I guess while we're waiting for this, I'll open up another window. And I'll type in another prompt. I'll make a new lesson called content number 2, so it doesn't interfere with content number 1. This one, I'm going to make another prompt, and I'm going to say, under general content, I am a 3rd grade teacher. I want to introduce the term. Oh, because, you know, like, let's say I had gone back here, and it was like, okay, you know, we want to do something about inherited traits. So now I want to introduce the term inherited traits and explain that offspring inherit traits from their parents. Can you write me a 5-paragraph reading for my students? Oh, and I would like each one to be on a separate card, and I would also like a picture on each card. Okay, let's do that too. So it's going to make them. It's going to take a minute. Alphabet cards are they're still chugging away, but almost done. Okay. This is still thinking. Okay, we'll almost have our alphabet cards. And I hope this didn't get stuck. It might have gotten stuck. We'll see. Oh, okay. So A, astronaut, B, banana, C, cupcake, D. Okay, so we see that it's figured it out. H for hot air balloon, I for ice cream, J for jellyfish, L for, I guess that's a lighthouse, M for a strange looking mermaid, N for narwhal. These are a little advanced. P for penguin, Q for quill. Of course, there's something missing here. The words are missing. It's only done the letter. It sometimes happens like this. In this case, you would just rerun it again, and hopefully it would get it better the second time around. Here, it's almost done doing inherited traits. And oh, you know, it talks about traits are something that makes you unique. It talks a little bit about DNA. It talks about hair color, height, body shape. It talks about animals and plants and puppies, environmental influence, and then celebrate your unique traits. Again, if you think this is like too hard, too easy, you can try it again and it will regenerate like a whole different thing. You'll notice that the pictures are a little weird too, like text they can't get at this point because this is developing technology. But some pictures are okay, like these puppies or these DNA molecules. I want to emphasize that these pictures were generated from scratch. It's like having someone paint it for you. This picture has never existed in the universe before. It's just something that it created on the fly. So yes. And yeah, so any questions about that? We have content generators. You can make pictures, you can make, you know, words, you can make paragraphs and have illustrations. Okay. Okay, so I'll say one last thing, conclusions or final thoughts. This is about AI in general. I feel like every person, every like startup person has like had a ChatGPT speech or presentation by now, and a lot of pontification. I'll keep the pontification to a minimum, but I just want to point out a few things. I'm 44 years old. I think James is a similar age. And so we're pretty much at the age where like PCs, personal computers were introduced to us like when we were kids. And so this was like, one day, a computer appeared, the kind you had to hook into your TV. I had an Atari 800, playing video games and doing some simple programming. And if you guys are a similar age, like, do you guys remember how cool it was to have a PC? Like when you first opened it up and it seemed like you could do anything? Like the first painting program or the first word processor, it seemed kind of magical. I know for me, it was like, wow, this is a technology you can use to express yourself. You can be creative. You have like endless freedom. And now with these developed technologies, we're at the point where like essentially intelligence is very cheap. Like if you subscribe to ChatGPT Plus for $20 a month, you can ask 50 questions an hour to like the world's smartest person. There's going to be the future where making any sort of text or pictures or movies will be very, very easy. So you can imagine maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, like your students will be able to make like a Pixar quality movie just by typing in a few words, and then boom, like, a 2-hour movie with all the animations and everything will just appear because the computer will be able to generate that. So we're going to be swamped by content. Like there's going to be endless stories, endless videos, endless pictures to choose from, all made by computers. And what does this bring up to you as a person? Because I'm 44. Like what does the world look like when all the things that used to be very hard now seem like very easy to do? What does it mean for us? What does it mean for our students? I mean, I'm sure you guys have a lot of thoughts, but I just wanted to throw that question out there, like for like 10 seconds. I think there are two sort of attitudes to this. One attitude is, well, like this is pretty hopeless. We might as well give up and live in the Wall-E universe where we float around and enjoy life while computers do everything for us. Or, capitalism is going to exert its, usual ways, and we're going to be crushed while computers and, powerful overseers run the world. There are all these sort of thoughts you can go down. But the other thought is, well, now I can do something really neat because technology is a lever. It can amplify human abilities. And it's just the same you were when you were a kid and you saw your first PC. And you can think of all the cool things that having the super intelligence at your disposal now enables. So that in mind, I'm gonna pose two things. I think there's two skills that are going to be really, really important in the future. Vital skill number one, you got to still be able to communicate what you want. So I'm going to share my screen again. It doesn't matter, like whether you're writing code, or you're writing essays, you're writing equations, like maybe the way we program computers in the future is going to be by talking to them. But the people who know how to talk well, how to write well, how to like make their thoughts really clear, how to break things down, all the things you guys are teaching students right now are going to become even more important. Like humanities are going to become super important because this is going to be the way we communicate. That's always going to be like really relevant and really important. And I think vital skill number two, and this is maybe a shout out to the CTE people, being able to use your hands as well as your minds. I know like we've been like a knowledge economy or service economy or something for a while, but I think a lot of, like, remember when manufacturing became very cheap and, all these jobs became like offshored and things like that. Like the people who made the money were the people who figured out like how to take advantage of really cheap manufacturing. The people who are going to make money now are going to be the ones who can take advantage of this really cheap intelligence. I think a lot of money and jobs and things like that in the future are going to come from giving artificial intelligence access to the physical world, like making a bridge between those two. So to whatever extent your students are comfortable, like, doing things with their hands, doing things with their mind, building a bridge between these two things, it's going to be really important. Your job is safe. I think all our jobs are safe. Education and science. I think none of these have ever been like limited by intelligence alone. Like there's so many other constraints that pile up on top. Even if we were all twice as smart, it would still be just as hard. And so all these tools are just going to help us. Our jobs are safe. There might be some cheating that happens, but I think, we're going to be able to get around that in, many ways. But these tools will be very powerful for teachers as well. Any questions, any thoughts that you guys have?
Thank you, Julius. Just looking to see if we see any hands or any comments. Yeah, I think Julius has done a good job giving us like the positive spin on how AI is going to help us, because there's just a lot of work that we see teachers doing that's takes a lot of time, that we realize like, oh look, this is where ChatGPT could come in. And I interviewed one teacher when this came out last year, who was retiring from Rialto, and when he sent me just an unsolicited email about how excited he was with the generator, I asked him if I could interview him about what he was doing, and he said that he used the content generator that you saw Julius use to create stories at different reading levels. And he said, yeah, ChatGPT's figured out the AR level or the Lexile level. And so he made all these stories that were different reading levels and had different subject area that he knew would captivate his kids' attention. And then he said to me, but then I got to make sure they actually read it. So I take the AI generated story and I have AI generated questions from the story. And I was like, wow, AI generating AI, this is blowing my mind. Because we didn't tell anyone to do this. This is our just love of seeing teachers push skies to the limits. And so he said, yeah, I really want them to think. So I use the open-ended questions or the short answer questions. And so he had different cards that different groups of students could see, and they could read the story and answer the questions. And so yeah, I think this is, I'm just excited about the positive ways that this could help teachers, personalize their instruction even more and tailor, their classroom to their students even more. And so with that, I think, Julius and I should turn things over now to the teachers that are in the trenches, like, in the classrooms, going to the classrooms, working with the teachers and the students day in and day out. And so we're going to shift now to our breakout rooms. And so we're going to help you guys should see the breakout rooms and the speakers. You guys should be able to move yourselves in the breakout rooms, and we'll also help move anybody that needs help moving. The speakers are going to be speaking for about 15 minutes on their topics, which I discussed at the beginning. And we'll have about 5 minutes to questions, and you guys can feel free to move around, take advantage of the expertise and ideas that these teachers have to offer, and keep in mind it's not a training, it's a chance to kind of get excited, open your mind, talk to an expert, but then we're going to be able to give you guys support to make sure that you guys can get started or advance and do the things that you want to do. So we'll go ahead.